This is Wes Snyder in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Resort Loop starts now.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
To our new passengers, aloha and welcome aboard.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Welcome back to ResortLoop.com. I'm Tim Scott, joined by
his lovely wife.
And this is the much anticipated Disney Cruise Line, Disney Fantasy dining show.
Yes.
People are very excited about this one.
It's going to be a good one.
We wanted to touch on the dining in our last show, and we realized if we had done that, the show probably would have been like 2 hours long. So rather than bore our listeners with a 2-hour show, we just decided to bore you with a 1-hour show, or whatever it takes. Don, would you like to tell them about the dining options on board the ship? Like, as soon as you get on board the ship, actually when you book your cruise, what do you need to do?
You need to first choose for your dinner time only if you want early dining, which is at 5:45, or late dining, which is at 8:15. Now, we have done both on different cruise lines,
yes.
The early dining and the late dining, or main dining and late dining as it's usually referred to. Mm-hmm. And we have found that for our family, the later dining seems to work better.
We wouldn't have thought so initially, but...
No, we would not. But our friends convinced us on our Alaska cruise, let's go for the late dining. And we are a late dining convert. We will probably never do early again.
I don't think so. We loved it.
We really did. It works out. There's advantages and disadvantages. You know, if you have small children that adhere to a regular dinner schedule, you probably would want to do the early seating. But if your schedule is flexible, you have older kids or maybe kids that are used to eating a little bit later, or you're on a different time zone,
yes,
that might be a consideration for having the later seating. But we have found the later seating more relaxing, not quite as rushed, because the servers aren't as anxious to get you in and out as they are for the main, because they have to reset the tables and clear everything up for the later seating.
I think that's a biggie for us. I just don't like being rushed at dinner.
Me either. So it works out for us. And a normal day for us would be either coming back to the cabin either after a shore excursion or after doing things on the ship, maybe around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I'm kind of ready for a nap about that time. So we usually get, some type of room service appetizer. They have some good stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then take a nice little nap because I'm on vacation after all.
That's right. Plus we won't be rested to enjoy the evening.
Absolutely. So you can get ready, go to a show, and then by the time the show is over, you have time to walk around a bit, and it's time for dinner.
Yep.
It's a relaxing evening, and that's what we like.
Yep, especially if you want to stroll the deck after dinner or enjoy a late movie.
Absolutely. It works out well.
Excellent.
So let's talk about our first night.
Our first night on the Disney Fantasy on the 7-day Western was at which restaurant?
Enchanted Garden. No, I'm sorry, Animator's Palette.
Animator's Palette is a very famed restaurant on the high seas.
It is. And I love the Animator's Palette on Fantasy better than I did on Magic or Wonder. It is much, much, much more complex, more of a show. I know in the promo videos for the early years of Animator's Palette, they talked about, as your meal progresses and the room becomes awash with color and everything. They don't do that on the Fantasy.
No, there's a whole different show.
There is, and I think it is significantly better.
And technically there's 2 shows.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we'll have 2 shows. We'll talk about the first one coming up. The first one, I'll let you describe it, Dawn.
Well, first of all, the room, most people think of Animator's Palette because if they've seen the promotional videos for it, they think of a black and white room, and then it shows that changing to color and adding colors to the walls, and then the servers change their vests from black and white to color. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't happen on the Fantasy. The room is quite colorful to begin with. I loved the chairs. The chairs were Mickey Mouse's outfits. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. Black on the top, red on the bottom with his yellow buttons. And I thought that was really, really cool.
It was very, very cool, yes.
Yeah. The first night, the decorations were Pixar decorations. They had some little tin toys up there. They had some Pixar books that were, the picture books from some of the movies. And Just thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it was all Pixar theme. And then they changed it all. They used a little trick that I found out on during the second night. We'll talk about that the second night.
But our table was all the way in the back.
Yes, right by the kitchen.
And at first I thought, oh, good grief. All these people are going to be parading past us, getting their meals and stuff. But it wasn't that bad. They must have several entrances.
Yeah, there was a little bit, but it didn't really bother me too
No,
much.
not at all. Especially then when we realized that our table was right by one of the TV screens.
Yes.
So we could see everything.
We were right next to our own big monitor, like a 40-inch thumb monitor. It was very nice.
That was cool. So the first night starts out with like a Turtle Talk with Crush type show, and Crush does try to talk to some different people in the restaurant. I think our Turtle Talk show was sort of a bust because the two people that he picked to talk to, one I don't think understood the whole concept of Turtle Talk with Crush, and they were confusing. And then the second one was a little boy he picked, and he had wouldn't speak up and mumbled most of his words, and his family tried to encourage him, and he wasn't really having any of it.
Yeah.
And then he came over to talk to us.
Yeah, Crush came over to talk to us, and we were very excited. But just as he came over, the head waiter started talking to us.
He came to introduce himself. So we were
chit-chatting with him because we didn't know it was more rude to ignore Crush or to ignore the head server.
So we kind of got gypped a little bit.
We did. And when I heard Crush say, well, they're busy talking over here, and then he swam off to another table. So
and then that was that.
He didn't come back. So
no.
But
to entertain the children during dinner, they have what is it? What type of fish were they? Moonfish?
Confish?
No. The ones that made the different shapes and things that you had to guess.
Oh, right.
It was the fish. They were from Finding Nemo. The ones that made the Sydney
they made shapes.
Skyscape.
Yes.
In the movie. Mm-hmm. They were the same type fish, but they would start to make different shapes, and they wouldn't fill the whole shape in at once. You had to guess what you thought they were making. And
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. The kids really enjoyed that. We enjoyed guessing and sometimes guessed wrong.
Yeah, we did.
But it was fun.
It was very fun.
So
very, very enjoyable.
Let's talk about our servers, because that was the first night that we met our servers.
Our servers, we met, you had the same servers for every night of your cruise. They have what they call the rotational dining. So you have your same serving team during the whole cruise, which usually would be very good unless you happen to have bad servers. But we had good servers this time, so it wasn't a problem.
Yeah, I don't think any of them will ever top our Wonder servers. That's going to be really, really hard. But our service team also had two other tables, and they both had, I think one table had 8, the other table had 10 guests at it. And for the first couple nights, we sort of felt ignored.
We did.
And I'm not a big fan of, once I'm done with my plate, I really like it to be cleared.
Yes.
And, Disney gives nice, healthy portions, and I don't always eat everything that's on my plate. And I don't know if that was a deterrent why they didn't come and take my plate.
Well, no, because they weren't bringing drinks after a while.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
For the first couple nights.
So the first couple nights, I had a real not good feeling about our service team. Except for our head server, who checked in with us every single night, which is not usually a common thing, I don't think, for most head servers to do.
No, usually we don't see them until they might stop in once before the cruise or once during the cruise, and then definitely once near the end of the cruise. They always stop by.
Yeah, when it's tip time, they always make an appearance. But our head server stopped by every single night to see how everything was. And we didn't mention that we weren't having great service. You can, but I just feel like then your servers kind of look at you funny, like, thanks a lot for tattling on me or something.
Exactly.
And I don't want, the service team. They tried hard. Like I said, they had 2 other big tables. And this time we were seated at a table for 4. So it was just our family. And some families like that. They like to have their, family time. We generally like to be seated with other families.
Yeah, we usually like to just meet another family because they usually try to pair you up with the ages of the children. So the children have somebody to talk to, and you talk to the parents also.
Yeah. So we were a little bit disappointed about that.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, we have a fun talking with our family, but our kids ditch us pretty soon right after they eat.
They do. They don't even wait for dessert.
No, they're too busy wanting to get back to the clubs. But in about the 3rd or 4th night, I think all of a sudden, especially our assistant server, I think he realized they were not giving us the best service they could possibly give.
Yes.
And they stepped it up for the rest of the cruise, and it was very nice, very enjoyable.
They did. I kind of wondered if they maybe were just paired up recently. Maybe they're still learning how as a pair they work the tables.
That could be.
So
it was fine. It was definitely better than the Magic service that we had.
Much better than the Magic, and
It was fine.
it was totally
it was adequate. You know,
Yeah.
maybe it was a step above adequate, I suppose.
We didn't walk away there going, that was a terrible dinner service.
No, not at all.
And then on the second night, our dining was in the Enchanted Garden.
Yes, that was very nice. We were kind of by a window, but it was pretty dark, so...
It was dark and we were kind of back in the corner, which was fine. Table was a nice size. The restaurant on the inside, and I told you this at the time, looks a lot like it reminded me of Crystal Palace at the Magic Kingdom.
Yes. So it's done in very muted colors and a lot of ivory and very, very pale greens. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very pretty restaurant.
It has a fountain in the center of the restaurant that's apparently not for washing your hands.
Good grief.
I know. Who knew?
Some guests, I think, were really overly excited about. There's like semicircular booths that go down like the main walkway.
They're very attractive booths.
They are very. Stephen and I went to dinner one morning, just the two of us. I think Mackenzie was sleeping in, and we were seated at one of the booths, and it was really nice. It was a nice buffet, and it was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. They looked very nice.
I think it would be a tad bit cramped for a family of four because the table size is not very large. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they would put a family of four there regularly. I don't know. The table size was small. The seating space was adequate, though. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So that was our second night there. And then our third night, we were in Royal Court.
Yes, that is the, I don't know if I'd call it upscale, but supposed to be the fancier of the three.
Mm-hmm. It was. It's pretty fancy, I would say.
It was very.
So it was very, very nice. Although I'm drawing a blank as to where our table was. Oh, I know. We were at a half booth with two chairs on the outside. It was a banquette on the one side, and that's right.
Kind of close to the center.
Yes, to that great big huge. There's a huge table that seats like 12 that's right under this massive chandelier.
And I guess a lot of people really want to sit at that table.
But we heard there's a drawback to sitting at that table.
Yes.
That the table is so wide and massive that you pretty much can only talk to the person you're sitting beside. That it's difficult to talk to someone at the other end or even across the table because it's quite large. But it's a beautiful table. It's beautiful chairs.
It is beautiful. I will say, at least to me, I think we talked about this, that restaurant seemed a little noisier than the rest.
It did. I don't know if maybe the acoustics were just not done as well.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. But, so those were the three restaurants, the Royal Court, Enchanted Garden, and Animator's Palette. Mm-hmm. Our rotation was Animator's Palette, then Enchanted Garden, then Royal Court. Then we went back to Animators. And there's a second show on Animators the second night.
Yes.
And that's the animation show.
Now that is the show everybody is raving about right now.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Before we get into the show, let's talk about the little trick they do to change it up a little bit in there. Initially the first night, all the shelves have the Toy Story characters. At least around us it was Toy Story. It might have been different characters at different parts. The second night you go back, they slide up the shelf on the bottom, revealing a shelf like below or above what you saw the first time. And there was a whole different theme. I think it was like nature.
I thought it was like
that kind of.
Yeah, they had some like Disney cartoony little figurines around.
Yeah, it was just a totally different decor, and you might not have noticed it. For some reason, I noticed it, but then once we looked around, we go, "That is a very cool way to do it."
Yeah, that was neat.
So
that was pretty cool.
That was very cool.
So this is the show where everybody gets a placemat, and what they say is, you draw a character and they animate it, but it really isn't quite as complicated as all that. They give you a placemat that has an outline of a person's body on it.
Yes.
And you take markers and you color in the person or draw, whatever you want to draw, give the person a face. And some people don't read the directions, which always makes me laugh. They say, please don't use letters, please don't use numbers. And inevitably there's people with letters and numbers up there. But they just don't read the directions. The one thing I would change is there's a marker at everybody's place. And so I assumed it had to be all one color.
Right. I did too.
But from looking at other people's characters that they drew, you could use all the different color markers at your table.
Yes.
So next time we would do that, I would definitely make a more colorful person. But you sign your name and everything on it. And when you're all finished, they take it from you. And one of the cruise staff loads it into whatever type program they have. They do show some Disney cartoons during the dinner service at that time.
Yes, to keep you kind of entertained while you're having your dinner before they can apparently render the show.
Right. So we ate and had dessert, and then by the time dessert came, they were ready to do the animation show. And you just have to experience. I don't think you can really explain what it is. You
it was
just
very
have
good.
to experience it.
And I could post a little quick video I took, but I don't think want to spoil it for anybody else out there. So we're not going to do that. But.
No, I'm glad that we really truly didn't know, because it was such a surprise and it was so neat.
Yes.
And, the characters interact with some of the Disney cartoon characters, and it was just amazing. And then at the end, they roll it all up and they show everybody's signature that was a part of that show.
Yeah, it was very, very cool.
It was.
And then, of course, our kids had ditched us by then, so they never did see the show.
No, we taped it, but we haven't even shown them yet. Hey, they're lost.
That's right.
We tried to talk them into sticking around for it, but they just were so excited to get back with their friends, and they just wanted to participate in the activities. So
they take such good care of the kids there by keeping them occupied that they just don't want to power down and just relax for a little bit.
Exactly. So, but I'm glad we stayed. It was definitely worth it.
I would stay again, even if they don't.
Yes. But don't worry, if your second night in Animator's Palette is Pirate Night, you will have a third night in Animator's Palette, and then that would be your show.
That's a good tip.
Because the Pirates Night, it's just a fun night, and they do it fairly pirate themed, and I don't think they want to try to merge the two, so they make sure that you have a second night or a third night in Animators so that you can see the show then.
Yeah, I believe all the restaurants have the same menu on Pirate Night, the pirate menu.
Yes.
Is that right? So then you'll have the actual Animator's Palette menu for the second night.
Right.
So
and it was very good.
It is.
So, let's talk about some of the food we ate.
Fantastic. What was your favorite?
Beef Wellington.
We do love the Wellington.
It was really, really good. It's just amazing. Their beef Wellington was so good.
What is it? It said like a beef tenderloin wrapped in a pastry.
Mm-hmm. And it had a mushroom sauce on it. I picked out the mushrooms, but the sauce was really good. I'm a really picky eater, so I don't think people can really go by me on what is good and what is not good, because if I had to rate the food based on my tastes and what I thought, I would only give the food maybe a 5 out of 10, because it's not my thing.
Yeah, in their, I don't know what you call them, the featured items or whatever the main draw is supposed to be that night. There weren't too much that attracted you to the menu.
No.
But if you go to like the lower right-hand corner of the menu, that's where they have, I don't know if you call them the staples. Mm-hmm. That's where they have like a grilled chicken breast.
Oh, it's not grilled. There's no way my chicken breast was grilled. It was like boiled. It was gross.
It did look gross.
It was gross.
It did not look good.
It was rubbery. I think I took one bite of it and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, the servers then come, oh, you didn't like it? Let me get you something else.
Oh, yeah.
And that was very kind of them. But by the time you take a bite of something that doesn't taste good to you, I don't know about other people, but my stomach was turned and I was not in the mood to eat at all.
Right. Plus, with all the other dining on the ships and room service, if you don't, fill up at dinner.
Oh yeah, there's always something else you can get.
There's nothing worth, nothing to worry about.
I certainly did not walk away from the cruise losing weight. There was none of that happening.
No, there wasn't.
But they are a cruise ship. They're out at sea. The menus in the main dining rooms seem to me very seafood heavy. And because of my shellfish allergy, I do not eat any type of fish, just because I don't know if it's been cooked near something that is a shellfish. So in restaurants, I avoid shellfish and fish altogether.
Yes.
So that kind of limits the menu as to what you can have. Oh, but the one thing I did have that was really, really good was our last night in Enchanted Gardens. The server recommended the fettuccine with Parmesan encrusted chicken.
Oh, yes.
That was fantastic.
That did look good.
It was really, really good. I think Steven and I both had that, and it was really, really good.
Yeah, one of my favorite nights, I think it was in Enchanted Garden, our second time there, was some kind of encrusted tuna.
Oh, okay.
And the waiter recommended the tuna, because normally I don't buy tuna, and the tuna was fantastic. It was like the size of a big steak.
Yeah.
And it just had really good flavor. So that was one of my favorite meals on the cruise. Although my other favorite meal on the cruise was from another restaurant that we haven't discussed yet.
Okay, well, we'll go there in a minute, but I wanted to talk about how Steven orders his food.
Oh, my goodness. You got to listen to this.
Our son, Steven, and I'm glad he's not like me, a picky eater, or he doesn't have food allergies that we know of. He's been able to eat anything with no problem.
Oh, yes.
Steven decided he didn't particularly want to take the time to have to look at the menu and make a decision. He's a 17-year-old boy who just is like, I want to eat, give me something. And so he asked our server, I don't think it was the first night I think he ordered, it was the second night. He said, can you pick out 2 appetizers and 2 entrees that you think I'll like, and I'll go with that. And we were stunned. He did that every night after that on the cruise. He said, 2 appetizers, 2 entrees, there you go.
Yep.
And
surprised me.
Yeah, surprised me, and he did. He got surprised a couple times. And the other thing is, like, if we know what he's eating and he does not know what it is, he asks us not to tell him because he wants to be able to enjoy the flavor of the food without knowing exactly what it is.
Yes.
And that happened the one night we were in Royal Court, and they brought him escargot, and he did not recognize what it was, and we knew what it was right away because we had seen it on the menu, whereas he had not even looked at the menu.
Yep.
And he tried it, and he thought it was wonderful. And I'm so proud of him for liking things like that. I think he'll go far in life when he's able to try new things. And, so that was amazing. And the other nice thing is I'm not sure if it was just our servers or maybe servers in general are doing this, because there are a lot of people that request 2 entrees. And so instead of bringing 2 complete entrees, they bring you 1 entree with the sides, and then they bring you a smaller plate with just the protein from the second entree.
That was awesome.
And that was nice because really Steven's only going to eat the protein. He doesn't really care about the starch, or certainly doesn't care about the vegetables, that's for sure.
I think either him or I did that on one of the Royal Caribbean cruises. And they do bring you they brought us 2 full plates.
Yeah, and that's too much.
It's too much, and you look like a pig. I mean, let's be honest. Here, sir, here's your 2 plates.
But they brought him a second protein every time, and he loved it. And he had a lot of great things that he tried. But I think the funniest thing they brought him, we were in Royal Court, and I think it was ahi tuna.
Yes.
That they brought him. It was ahi tuna with a side of pickled ginger.
Yeah, it was pickled ginger and wasabi, I think, on the plate.
Yes, along with this ahi tuna. Tartare. It was.
Yes,
and
of course.
Stephen thought that the pickled ginger looked like salmon, so he thought it was like a trio of something. Yes. And so he stuck the whole pickled ginger right in his mouth.
Oh, you should have seen the look.
Oh, it was so fun. I wish we'd had the camera rolling. It was hilarious. Oh, he's like, what is that? When he discreetly got rid of it, but we told him it was pickled ginger, and he's like, I thought it was salmon.
It was so big, I thought it was salmon.
But he had the rest of the ahi tuna, and he really liked it.
Yeah, he told the assistant server had the main server come over because he had to talk to him. Yeah. And he comes over and goes, what are you doing to me, dude? That's I think what he said.
I think so. Trying to kill me here with this pickled ginger.
Oh, my goodness.
But yeah, he didn't know what it was.
No.
That was pretty funny.
That was hilarious. Oh, one thing I did notice we all noticed on this trip when dining, every time you sat down for a meal, they asked you if you had any allergies.
Yes, every single time, whether it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Yes. That got a little tedious. Mm-hmm. So I think at some point you would just tell them, I can't have peanuts or something. But
yeah, I finally just started saying no because I knew I wasn't going to order anything with shellfish in it or any type of fish in it.
Right, yeah.
So, I just said, no, we're all fine here, because then they want the chef to come out and talk to you, and the head server for lunch or whatever would come over and talk to you. And honestly, I just wanted to enjoy the company of my family, so we just were like, nope, everything's good.
Yeah. We're just getting a burger. We're good.
And as far as we know, my shellfish allergy, not that I want to find out, but it wasn't life-threatening the first time I had it.
Right.
So,
but still, you're on the high seas. You don't want.
You don't want to risk that. So I do avoid. But the one they had a linguine with clams the one night, and the linguine looked really good, and I would have loved to have ordered it without the clams, but I thought, I'm sure the clams are cooked in the sauce, and you just don't want to risk that.
No, you don't.
But it looked good. So those are your 3 main choices for dining. Mm-hmm. You will go to each one at least twice if you're on a 7-day. Animators, Palette, Enchanted Garden, Royal Court. But if you choose not to have dinner at your main seating time, let's say you overslept, took a nap and overslept and missed your early seating, you still have cabanas that you can go to.
Yeah.
And Cabanas has we didn't do it because we really enjoyed the main dining rooms, but they do have a limited menu from each of the main dining rooms that night. Mm-hmm. And it is not a buffet. No. You go and you are seated, and they take your order, what you would like. And we hear from the feedback we had from friends that we talked to, it was very, very good. They liked it.
Yeah. It was very good. And it's a beautiful view up there.
Yes, we ate lunch there one day.
Yes, we did.
And, we were right at the window and watching out, the ocean. It was gorgeous. You just can't understand the blue of the Caribbean ocean or Caribbean Sea till you see it for yourself.
That's when we were at
beautiful
Costa Maya.
That's right. We were packed. I was going to say parked. We were docked.
Yes.
We were docked. That's right. So.
But funny story, we were dining there, and I think we just went up to get drinks.
Yes.
So we left our plates. We got up to go get drinks to come back, and the person clearing the tables had taken our food.
It was gone.
It was gone.
I was like, okay, I guess she thought we had too much.
That's
so.
right. Apparently, you don't need your food.
So goodbye. No, I think we had just gotten dessert or something. Then we got to refill our drinks, and
Yeah.
we had to go back and get more dessert. But that was okay. But our assistant server was working in Cabanas that day. And,
Yeah, so we talked to him again. Very nice.
you know, and they recognize you very, very quickly about the ship and say hi to you. And
I'm amazed at how well they remember names and faces.
it is. I know that they write it down. Like the first night, he did write it down on his little pad, and you know, I'm sure they kind of try to memorize it.
Yeah.
And, you know, he wasn't looking at his pad to see who we were.
No.
So, but to memorize that many people week after week after week, that's pretty good.
It's very good.
It's pretty good. Yep.
That's the Disney service.
That's right. So for lunch, we have some options.
Yes, we do.
Generally, one of the main dining rooms, usually not Animator's Palette, but either Enchanted Gardens or Royal Court will be open for a sit-down lunch. And the menu, this is a good tip, the menu is posted right outside the restaurant.
Yes,
So
take a look before you go in.
Yeah, because we didn't one time, and there was nothing on the menu that I cared to eat.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's when we went up to Cabanas.
I think so. Which is kind of embarrassing after you're seated. You know, it's like, oh my God, we got up and we left. So the next time we did, we noticed it finally that, oh, the menu's over here. Mm-hmm. And we didn't go a second time because there was nothing on there that looked appealing to me.
Right.
And that time I said, you know, I really just want like some chicken fingers or something. You know, this is Disney after all. Hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken fingers that you get in all the parks. You know, that's what I wanted. And fortunately, you can get them. So we went up to an area in the back of Deck 11, kind of toward midship.
Yep.
Forward.
It's more forward.
More forward
A little
than
more
back.
forward.
Yes. So, and they have 3 different or 4 different stations that you can...
Yeah, kind of set up like a Cosmic Rays a little bit, where you have like a beef section, chicken section, but these are broken down into what was it like? It was like pretzels in one section, and pretzels and pizza, then like burgers and fries and chicken fingers, and another section had like little mini wraps, and vegetables and fruit. Yeah,
had fresh fruit. That was really, really
the fruit
good.
was good. That's a nice touch after eating like fries and chicken.
Oh yeah, the fruit was really good.
Oh,
it tasted just delicious. But they have 2 different types of pretzels. One is it's shaped like a regular pretzel and has I think cream cheese on the inside.
Cream cheese, yeah.
I didn't particularly care for that one. The second one they have is just a regular pretzel, but it's in the shape of a Mickey head.
How cool is that?
Their pretzels were really, really good. I think we ended up having 2 on our cruise.
Yeah, I think I finished your cream cheese pretzel, and that was pretty good. It was a little sweeter,
Yeah,
but I can see where you wouldn't like it.
Yeah,
But the Mickey pretzel was good too.
it was delicious.
Oh, and off to the side of that little area there's like a little mini fixings bar.
Yeah, well, I think you could get a whole salad there. I think you could ask for a plate, or maybe they had plates or bowls out because they had a big tub of salad there.
Oh, that could be, yes.
So I think you could not only get stuff for your burgers, but you could also make yourself a salad if that's what you wanted.
I'm sure you could.
So
Kind of similar to Pecos Bill's on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of food options. You will definitely not starve,
No.
no matter how picky you are. And I'm pretty picky. So you will definitely not starve on a Disney cruise.
Not at all.
So, and 2 of our favorite ways to get food on a Disney cruise. One would be room service.
Room service it's like, make sure you have some ones. We talked about that before. Make sure you have plenty of singles for your trip to tip.
Definitely.
But they have a nice, it's a kind of a small menu, but they have, you can find something there you like.
Definitely.
Like I always like the fruit and cheese plate. They always have a nice little variety on there.
And
Your favorite.
oh, I am totally addicted to the BLTs. But I did notice, which this is nice, on the Magic, the BLT, when it came, it was a whole sandwich. On the Fantasy, when it came, it was a half a sandwich.
Oh.
So, which is fine because you don't really need a whole sandwich, either for a late night snack or before you're going to go to dinner in a couple hours. So it was kind of nice. And it comes with chips. The one time, the tomato, I'm not a big tomato fan, and I originally was just picking it off. So, but I thought, well, I'll try to order it without the tomato. Well, they also left off the mayonnaise.
Oh.
Well, that sandwich was so dry, I couldn't eat it. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, rats, and I really wanted it too.
Plus, you only want to have half because you can also order the chocolate chip cookies.
And they're huge. They're like the size of a small dinner plate.
And fantastic.
They're really good, but you only need one for 4 people because they are huge.
But what's the treat through room service that they don't really advertise?
Well, there's 2 of them that we found out. One of them was you can get an Uncrustable sandwich through room service.
Oh, that's true. Our daughter's new favorite.
Yes, she found that out. I'm not sure if she talked to a friend or whatever. She ordered that one day and she was like, oh, hello, this is fantastic. Now it's all she wants for her school lunch.
Yeah.
But the second thing is that you can get is a Mickey bar.
They're just as good on the high seas, just so you know.
They're just fantastic.
If not better.
Yep. So we love them. So you can do that. It's nothing like eating a Mickey bar, stands it on your balcony, watching the water go by.
That's true. The little heat lightning off in the distance.
Yeah, that was cool that one night.
That was great.
That was fantastic. Now let's talk about your favorite restaurant.
This, you've heard fantastic things about it, and I can verify that for the most part, they're all true. Now, there's the 2, what would you call them, upscale restaurants on the ship?
Adults only, for
Adults
sure.
only.
Mm-hmm.
There's Remy, and there's Palo.
That's right. And do not try to sneak your 17-year-old into Remy or Palo.
No.
Because Disney knows how old your children are. And first of all, when you go to make the reservations online, it won't even be an option.
No, they know.
But we've heard people are like, well, my 17-year-old will be 18 in 2 weeks, you know?
Right, he's a real foodie.
Yeah, sorry. Your 17-year-old's not 18, and that's the rule.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do appreciate Disney sticking to some of their rules.
It's nice to go to parts of the ship where there's just either no kids or very few kids.
Right. It was very nice.
And we're not anti-kid, it's just nice.
Right. Well, we went to Palo.
Yes, Palo was our restaurant.
But we had met friends on the ship that went to Remy. And I think definitely the next time we're on the Dream or the Fantasy, we have to try Remy because they raved. They said it was like an 8-course dinner, and they had 1 million servers. She said it almost kind of got ridiculous.
Really?
But she said one of the really cool things was the maitre d', when they escorted her to her table, he offered his arm to her.
Oh.
And she thought that was really cool. And then she got up to use the ladies' room, and he saw her and went flying over and offered her his arm again and escorted her to the ladies' room.
Oh, wow.
That she said she probably could have done without. But she's like, it was kind of a nice touch. But they have like different servers for things. Like there'll be a different server that brings you your bread, a different one that brings you your drinks. So at Palo, we had just one server pretty much for everything.
Yes.
So, well, go ahead. You tell about Palo because that was really your night.
Oh, no. Well, Palo is just it's of course the upscale Italian restaurant. Mm-hmm. And it's just very quiet in there. What was it? Would you say dark woods?
Yes.
And we had a lovely booth that just looked out over the ocean. Mm-hmm. It was very serene and relaxing, and
it was romantic.
It was.
It was nice.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. She'll tell you I don't know what I'm doing.
But it was really, really nice to have. It's kind of like a semicircular booth. It was
Yes.
It was nice.
And I'm trying to think of exactly how the menu went. It's one of those experiences that just happens so loosely and so comfortably. You don't really notice as it's going on. At least I didn't. We didn't have any drinks. Well, alcoholic drinks. We just had
right. We don't generally drink. So.
Not normally. Mm-mm. But they offered us the antipasti, or they call it on the ship. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. It had pancetta, Parmesan Reggiano, some olives. It was very good.
It was very, very
I think
good.
we probably got our money's worth in the Parmesan.
Oh, probably.
That's probably the most expensive cheese I think I've had.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
But it was very good. And then, tell them about your dinner, because you ordered some beef that sounds fantastic, but it was a little less than.
It was. I ordered the beef tenderloin, which was the filet, and it came with a really nice sauce, and it was like a red wine sauce, I believe, and it had, or you can have the gorgonzola sauce on top of it. I went with the red wine, and I think it came with mashed potatoes, but I can't remember. I think it came with mashed potatoes.
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah. And normally, well, the last time I went to Palo, I think I had the same thing, and I didn't even need a knife. The piece of beef just fell apart, as soon as you touched it with your fork. It was so tender and so wonderful. And this piece that I had, it was cooked exactly as I asked it to be cooked, but it was fatty. And I kind of questioned whether it really was a filet or not.
I took a bite, and it was a little more chew to it than it should for being a filet.
That's kind of what I thought, but I don't know. And I'm not really one to terribly make waves. And so we let it go. I ate probably half of it, and it was good. It had nice flavor to it.
It did have a good flavor.
But it was definitely not one of the better fillets that I've had.
Now, we've had more tender steak here at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. one thing the loopers probably need to know is you're a fantastic cook, especially at the grill.
Well, that is true. I'm a grilling master.
You really are.
I'm no Chef Keith. Let's throw that out there. But I can hold my own.
Oh, yeah.
So for my dinner, I was going back and forth between what I wanted to get. I couldn't decide between the grilled sea scallops, which I love a good scallop.
Yes, you do.
But she kept saying that the pan-seared, I think, turbo that they had was like their best fish of the day. So I told her, "What you sold me on the turbo. I'm going to give that a try." And she was like, "That's you know what? I'll bring you some scallops too because I know you're a big seafood guy." So she brought me out both. And I will say the scallops were good, but she was right. She nailed the turbo fish.
That's good.
That was excellent. I couldn't believe how good it was.
Yeah.
And again, it came with more pancetta. We had more pancetta on this cruise than I've ever had before, and it's a good thing I don't buy it around here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was very good.
It was very good. But before they bring you the meal, they're already asking you about dessert.
Well, they do. When they take your main course selection, they ask you, will you be ordering dessert? Will you be ordering chocolate souffle?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you do, chocolate souffle takes 20 minutes.
Yes.
And so they want to make sure that dessert comes out in a timely manner. So they ask you that. And of course, we had to have the chocolate souffle. And it was as wonderful as always.
I mean, people rave about it, and they're not over exaggerating.
No, it's also another one of those things you just have to try to believe how good.
It's worth the upcharge just to go in there and get the
absolutely
souffle. And normally I wouldn't think like that, but it absolutely is. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, we were going to take a picture of the souffle, and by the time it got there, we forgot, and we took a picture of an empty plate when we were done.
We did.
We were like, we're going to take a picture.
It was so delicious. It was just delicious.
That was probably a highlight on the food side of things for the cruise, I would have to say.
Definitely. We had a very, very nice server. She was very sweet, very helpful in making the selections. Although, once again, I thought dirty plates sat in front of us way too long.
Oh.
I'm okay. You finish, minute or two, 3, whatever. But, they do not rush you at all at Palo.
No.
Or really in any of the restaurants. And that's fine with us because we're generally never in a hurry.
Right.
But 10 minutes of a dirty plate sitting in front of me, then I'm done.
Right.
I want the plate cleared away.
Yeah.
But, I thought that was the one thing that was really lacking on this cruise is that they left the dirty plates at the table. And I don't like that. Sometimes the dirty plates from the appetizers were being cleared as the main dish was being brought.
Yeah.
And, that should have been done long before then. Sometimes they were setting the table with additional silverware that you may have needed for your main course sort of around your dirty appetizer plate.
That was a little unusual.
Yeah.
We didn't expect, you would expect top-notch service, especially like Palo.
Yeah.
So,
well, she wasn't resetting the table while we were still had dirty. She did clear the dirty dishes before she brought the extra silverware. But in the main dining room a couple times, they were sort of pulling the plate away as they were putting the additional silverware down, and I thought the dirty plate should have been cleared long before then. And
I don't know how the booking is for Palo on the ships where they also have Remy, because our dinner was at 6, and we probably left like 7:30ish. Mm-hmm. And the restaurant wasn't anywhere near full.
No, not at all.
So I thought that was really interesting. I was expected by the time we'd leave, all the tables or most of the tables would have been full, and that wasn't the case.
Not at all. I think Remy is pulling a lot of people away. And people enjoy the main dining room, so they may not want to take 2 nights out of their cruise to eat at the adults only, especially if they have children. Although some people don't have a problem leaving their children at main dining if they go and decide to have dinner elsewhere.
Tell them what happened at this dinner. It just blows me away, and I can't even. My mouth just stands in awe, open every time I think about this. So
our second night at Enchanted Gardens, we came, and there was a table of 4 next to us, and then there was a table of about maybe 8 or 10.
Yeah.
Probably 10. Just the next table over, and that table included 6 children. And the oldest child was maybe 7, 8 at the very, very oldest. The youngest one looked to be about 3, and it was 2 different families that were traveling together and eating together. Mm-hmm. And the adults decided one night to go to either Palo or Remy, so one of the adults only. So one of the dads brought the 6 kids down to dinner, plopped them in their chairs, and left. He was gone. He was like, "See ya, suckers." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So I don't know if maybe they prearrange that with their waiter.
I would hope, but I don't know.
Or, whatever. But, and they were, we have to say, very, very well behaved children.
They were
not
very
disruptive
well behaved.
at all. And, so I just, out of curiosity and sheer nosiness, asked I think it was our assistant server,
Yes.
if that is a common thing where parents leave children that young to go have dinner themselves. And they said, oh, yes. And, they have to keep an eye on them, that's part of the Disney service, that if anyone comes to dinner, they serve them and they take care of them. And he even said if someone needs to use the restroom, they have to walk them to the restroom, and they wait outside the restroom until they're done. They don't help them in the restroom.
But they don't leave them alone.
No, they don't. And they walk them back. And we were stunned.
Yes.
But we had second seating. So by the time it was like 9:15-ish, 9:10, something like that, the youth counselor had come down from the club and escorted the children, up to the club.
Yeah.
So, but we were beyond shocked because the night that we ate at Palo, because we have late dining, we made our Palo reservations for 6 so that we could join our children for dinner.
Our 17 and 12-year-old who could eat alone.
They could, but I just
Why on vacation would you want to leave your kids alone at dinner?
Well, not only that, but, the 17-year-old maybe, but we have a 12-year-old girl.
Right.
And it's Disney, and I think it's relatively safe. But Disney can't control who comes on their ships for the most part. I just wouldn't leave my 12-year-old girl alone, let alone my 7-year-old girl.
Stranger things have happened.
They are. I think it's an unsafe situation, but that's just us. And we've been told multiple times we're overprotective parents, and it is what it is.
But hey, that's who we are.
It is. And, I wouldn't have done it.
Right.
I was shocked that somebody else would. But I hope their server got a really, really good tip for that one.
You would hope so.
Because either the assistant server or the server was with the kids at the table almost the entire time.
Right.
There was very, very few little spaces where they were left unattended at their table, which then I find rude to the other guests. Mm-hmm. Because if one of the serving team has to be with the children, then the other guests are kind of getting the shaft because they're not getting their same attention.
Yeah, there was somebody always keeping an eye on the kids.
Yes.
One of the two servers.
Yeah.
Right.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. So.
Well, now we've talked quite a bit about the dining. I think we need to talk about a couple treats.
Definitely. The ice cream.
Oh, yes.
In the monster reference to good old Mike there.
Yes.
But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised on the Fantasy that there was more than just a chocolate and a vanilla choice for the ice cream.
Yes.
There was strawberry and banana as well. Mm-hmm. Were there other flavors throughout the week?
I'm trying to think if they changed them once or twice. I thought I was thinking of raspberry, but I'm not even sure that's right.
I'm not sure if they changed it, if it's chocolate, vanilla, banana, strawberry, or if they had changed them. I'm not sure. But whatever. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
One of those 4 choices, and they're certainly yummy.
And there was, 4 ice cream machines? Mm-hmm. And I think on the Magic and Wonder, I think there was just 2.
Right. There was 2, so there was enough space. Although, I don't know, sometimes people don't watch their children. And please, please, please watch your children. Don't let your 5-year-old go over to the ice cream station and get his own ice cream. Because let me tell you what happens. He pulls out too many of the cones and then tries to shove them back in and then uses the one cone after he has touched all the other ones that he's pulled out. We saw that a couple times.
Yeah.
And one time it was a sister who was being very sweet to help her little brother, and she had grabbed 2 cones. The little brother grabbed a cone, and she said, I already have one for you. And so she grabbed that cone that he was holding and shoved it back up there instead of just throwing it away.
Ew.
So, yeah, not a fan of that.
No.
But they also have a soda station.
They have dual soda stations.
They do. They have 2 different ones that you can use. And
one on port and one on starboard by the Palo. See how I use the nautical terms?
So, and that's always nice.
It is.
So, and the cups aren't very big, but we go often enough. It's probably a good thing. They're not that big.
And I think we talked about the Cove Cafe before, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But once again, great place for coffee, nice and quiet in the adult area. And they also have pastries in there. I'll just throw that in real quick.
Yeah. So your sodas are available, Coke products, anytime you want. Should note, though, if you want a can of soda delivered to your room for room service, there will be a charge for that.
Oh, yes.
The soda is only free in the main dining rooms and at the beverage station. If you go to the movies or a show and you get a can from a bar, you will be charged.
Yes.
For that. Other food that there's a charge for, snacks at the movies. There's a charge for popcorn and a charge if you buy the box snacks, things like that. But other than that, everything is included.
Yeah, and any of the receipts for anything you buy from like any place like that usually has gratuity already built in.
Yes, that's good to know.
Just so you know, so you don't. Yeah. I mean, if you want to tip extra, go for it, but it's already included. You're fine.
Absolutely.
So excellent.
So that was our food.
That was the food portion of our.
So what would you? Because knowing me that I'm picky and I had some trouble finding things that I liked, so I didn't care for the food as much. What would you give the food on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I would give it a 8.
8? Okay.
I'd give it an 8.
Okay. What did you dislike? To drop it 2 points.
Ooh, let me think. To drop it 2 points. Sometimes there's a little bit of a wait. Sometimes the courses weren't spaced like I would like them time-wise. And like you said, taking away the dirty dishes and keep my drink filled.
I know.
I don't know if I don't drink all day, but by the time I sit down, I'm just drinking like a madman.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm a 1 Coke for dinner time and then I'm done because it's too close to bedtime, so I don't want the extra caffeine. Right. So, but you could keep my water glass filled and I'd be pretty happy with that. So, although I think I shocked our assistant server on the last night, I got 2 Cokes.
He'd ask every day, are you going to break your rule about 1 Coke?
And I did on the last night.
And the look on his face,
he was shocked.
It was priceless.
He probably was thinking, dang, now I got to go get her another one.
Right. I wore her down and now I wish I didn't do it.
Exactly. Thank goodness it's the last night.
So we know we have friends going on a cruise. What dining room would you recommend they do not miss?
Animators. Either night of Animators. Definitely don't miss.
That's a good call. Because we waited to take our Palo after we had done the other dinings.
Right.
So we were doing it on a repeat night. That's a good tip for anybody. If you want to make sure you get in your the main dining room so you experience them all. Wait till late.
Or just be on the safe side. It wouldn't have mattered because our Palo was on our second night at Animator where they had the show.
Right, yeah.
So we just went to Animators early. That way we could take our children to Animator's Palette that night. And so we didn't miss the show either. We just had drinks. And I think we ended up having a second dessert.
Oh, quite possibly. We probably did.
I think I had a cheesecake. It looked really good.
I will say the desserts were pretty good on the trip.
The desserts are always really, really good. And like overall, you're feeding 4,000 people a day, 3 times a day. I think they do a pretty good job. I would like to see just a tad bit more variety because it is so seafood and fish heavy.
Yes.
And they do have a vegetarian menu. They list the vegetarian options and with the regular menu, and then down below on the right hand side of the menu, it will list the options that are all vegetarian, and then beside that will list the ones they call it lighter fare, but I think it's plain Jane stuff for picky people like me. It's really what it is.
Right.
But I would really like to see a salad offered as an appetizer each night. They didn't have a Caesar salad.
You know what? They didn't have blue cheese dressing either on the cruise, which I thought was really weird.
So, but I would like to see a salad as an appetizer because that's generally what I enjoy. They did have some salads, but it wasn't every night.
Right.
Their baked potato soup, that was fantastic. The first night I had that, and I was kind of like, I wouldn't mind having this every night for an appetizer. It was quite tasty. And their tomato basil soup, I had that one night, and it was very, very tasty.
When we had our Wellington, I thought this was interesting. Dawn had mentioned to the head waiter how she couldn't wait for
Wellington night because it's the See You Real Soon menu.
Yes.
It's the last night.
And he said, well, you should have told us. We could have fixed it for you earlier on the cruise.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was true or not, but I mean...
I thought that was nice of him to offer.
It was very nice.
It was, but the beef Wellington was fantastic.
I mean, I don't know how you go about ordering a special
meal. I
but...
probably wouldn't recommend doing that just because, I'm sure the chefs and I know the waiters and waitresses servers work so incredibly hard.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm sure there are other people that have, special requests and things and want things a little bit different. I can't even begin to imagine how hard that would be for the people expediting the dishes. Oh no, this one is supposed to have mashed potatoes, but they want French fries instead. And oh, this is supposed to have carrots, but they want the asparagus. I think that would be a nightmare back in that kitchen feeding that many people. But they do it, and they do it every day, and they do a fantastic job at it.
They do. Excellent.
It's very good. So overall, good cruise.
Great cruise.
Ready for our next one?
I know.
I can't wait.
There's nothing like getting off the ship, getting on the road, then you have to stop and get something to eat, and you have to pay with cash.
Oh, that stunk.
I'm like, well, I have my key to the world card right here. And they're like, no, sir.
No, we will take cash.
People try this every day when they get off the boat. We just don't take it.
Yeah, because we didn't eat breakfast on the ship
No.
last night. Last morning because we just grabbed our bags and we had to go. But yeah, that was it was a shocker having to hand over cash.
Yeah.
I don't like that so much.
So that was the worst part of the cruise leaving.
But the best part of the cruise leaving is knowing you have a next one booked.
That's it. Well, that's all I have. Anything else to add?
I don't think so.
We'll wrap it up today. Thanks for joining us, Dawn.
Thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun.
She is the ResortLoop.com expert. If you have any questions, send them in. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter. I'm ResortLoopTim. You can follow us on the website, ResortLoop.com. Don't forget Bob Collar. He's out there somewhere. He's ResortLoop Bob. And you can find us on Stitcher. We love the Stitcher. And also, don't forget our Facebook page, Facebook.com/ResortLoop. I'm Tim Scott. You've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. If Bob was here, he would say,
See you, everybody. I love that line.
I know.